Okay, so already 8:05 without waiting for others. So let's start our talk today. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to join this pocket talk session. I'm Wai Leng from Waterwash Penang. Okay, so as you may know, start from this Friday, we will have a series talks to discuss and discover about the Ulu Muda. So let me ask you some questions before we start. Who is Ulu Muda? Or what is Ulu Muda? What do you know about Ulu Muda? And why recently so many people or organizations are discuss or talk about this Ulu Muda? So can we have our audience very quickly at our group chat or at the Facebook there, share your comment here. Let me know what do you think about Ulu Muda when I mention what the first thing come into your mind. Can we have some response? All right. How about from Facebook? Yeah, we have some from Facebook as well. So my question is, what coming into your mind when we mention about Ulu Muda? So we have response from Aida. Thank you, Aida. Ulu Muda mean border to Thailand for you. And then what else? Okay, we have Uma. Uma mentioned that Ulu Muda is a water catchment. And we have Wong Lai Yong at Facebook mentioned that what Ulu Muda means water resource. And then we have, wow, have Gibbon. Okay, so if you ask me, I will mention that Ulu Muda for me also is a water catchment. It's a very, very important water catchment area, especially for the state, for Kedah, for Penang, and for police. And as me from the Penang state, 80% of the water that I use every day, include the water that I drink, I use for washing, every purpose for the domestic use, 80% is come from the Ulu Muda. So this is a very important. And from what we have from our audience also, we got a different answer from different people. All right, so if you ask the biologists, maybe they will tell you, oh, Ulu Muda is a heaven for wildlife. And if you ask the local, they may tell you that, especially for the fishermen, they will say, okay, I get the natural resource from the river and I generate income. And if you ask somebody else around you, maybe your friends, your family, they might throw back the same question to you. What is Ulu Muda? I never heard about Ulu Muda and I don't know about Ulu Muda, right? Okay, so let's go back to our topic today. Together with Waterwash Penang, I'm glad that I'm able to invite many people or few people from different fields to share their story, to share their experience and journey at the Ulu Muda. And today we have two researchers who are doing their research at Ulu Muda. And please welcome Ethan Pham. Ethan, hello. All right, so Ethan is a master candidate who is doing his master study at University Science Malaysia, and he is carrying out a population survey of a gibbon at Ulu Muda Forest Reserve. And then we also have Oi Ching. Hi, Oi Ching. Okay, Oi Ching from Management and Ecology of Malaysia Elephant, and now she is a PhD candidate at the Nottingham University, Malaysia. So welcome to our audience. All right. Okay, welcome both. We have Aida at the chat also. And then, so without wasting any time, I don't want to talk so much because today we're going to listen a very interesting story from both our researchers. So let's welcome Ethan to share his story. Ethan, the mic is you now.
All right, over to me. All right, can everyone see my slide? Wonderful.
Yes, we can.
Okay, cool. So good evening, everyone. Thank you, Wai Leng, for the very nice introduction. My name is Ethan, and I'm a Master of Science student under USM. Okay, as Wai Leng has mentioned, I am working on the gibbon populations in Ulu Muda itself. Okay, so I would like to start off with this title. Is Ulu Muda the last stronghold of agile gibbon? Okay. So before I go deeper, I'd like to introduce a bit of the advertisement, if you like. Okay, I would like to introduce what is UNCA. Okay, UNCA, also known as the Small Apes of Malaysia Research and Outreach. We are actually a project under the Malaysian Primatological Society or MPS. Okay, MPS is actually an NGO, and UNCA is just one of the many projects under MPS. Okay, so we focus on a couple of things. Oh, by the way, UNCA is actually the word gibbon in Bahasa Malaysia. So our team comprised of our beloved Dr. Nadine Rupert. She's my academic mother in a sense. And Associate Professor Susan Lapan, she is my academic auntie. She's from US. And another academic uncle of mine, Thad Barlett from University of Texas. He was, I think some of you catch him at WCC last year. Okay, so these are the advisory team, and the rest of the team are basically postgraduate students. Okay, so it's me and on the left, and then Isa on the far right, and in the middle we have Sue Adila Suhailin. We actually have the latest member of the postgraduate student team, that is Uma. She's right in here with us. I didn't have a chance to get her pictures just yet. So sorry, Uma. Right. So the aim of UNCA is to assess the distribution, the abundance, and the conservation status of gibbons in Peninsular Malaysia. The reason being, we do not know how many are there, how well do they do in Peninsular Malaysia right now. Okay, more on that later. And with the data that we have, we will inform management plans. And of course, we would like to educate about gibbons all around us. Okay, this is one of the pictures that I've taken when I run a session with a bunch of students at my friend's school. Okay, so talking about education, I've created games, board games, to run my program. So the one on the top left is actually called the Conquest of Ulu Muda. So if you guys got a chance of school group like that, would like to play this game, and just ring me up. And then I also, Sue is also running some programs in a convent in Pahang as well. And I went all the way back to my hometown in Johor to run the programs with my my juniors. Right. And so happened that I performed a bit of tests. So the one on the top left is actually the result before the program has been conducted. So some out of the 8 questions, some of them only got 3, but some of them got 4 and 5. But after the program, the whole result is skewed all the way to the right. Okay, many of them get a perfect score. So if you say that if there's an effect of the program, I mean, well, there is, at least immediately after the program. Right, so as I mentioned, I need animation. So before I go deeper into the gibbons, so which of the following is a monkey? Okay, you can put it in the chat box. Give it, I don't know, maybe 10 more seconds. All right, so allow me to review the answer. I think just some of you have already seen it. Okay, 2 of these are actually monkeys. The reason why I show this slide is many people who have not really have an encounter with gibbon before would think that would be just another species of monkey because of their size. Okay, but there's a key difference between the 2 groups of primates. Okay, B and D are definitely the long-tailed macaque and the dusky langur respectively. Okay, and then A and C are the gibbon and orangutan, and of course E is Wailing. Right? Okay, so gibbons are also known as small apes. Okay, not because they are some of them will refer that as a lesser ape, but it would offend some researcher because they are not lesser, they're just being small. Okay, because we know there's a great ape, but we don't call it greater apes, right? So small apes will be a rather appropriate pronoun to this group of animals. So what are these animals? So if you can see, this is basically most group of the primates that is extant in this world at the moment. From oval monkeys onward, you can see gibbons, orangutan, and then all the way to human, okay? This whole group over here encompassing gibbons is called the apes, okay? Within apes, you have great apes and the small apes. Small apes are all of the gibbons, whereas great apes includes orangutan and all the way up to human. All right, so as the name suggests, they are smaller. Okay, the far right is the gibbon itself, and then you have human, chimpanzee, gorilla, and orangutan, respectively, towards the right. Okay, they are mostly 30, 40, 50 centimeters. Oh wait, hang on. Well, some of them are 45 centimeters in height. Siamang is the biggest among all, which I will show you later. Smaller, and then they are tailless. This is the key difference between the two groups of animals. A monkey has a tail, gibbon has none. They are strictly arboreal. Okay, they don't come to the ground. Otherwise, a forest guide told me if they come to the ground, they kind of surrender like this because they need to raise their hand to balance. So, and then they could not move effectively on the ground. So they rely on closed canopy, closed forest canopy. Otherwise, any gap that is more than 10 to 12 meters, they would not be able to cross. And they move around like this. They just swing past branches to branches. Okay, this whole thing happens in, I think, less than 1 second. So I slow it down just for you guys to see. Okay, that happened in Marapo. It's actually another species of gibbon. They are frugivores, okay, which means they eat a lot of fruit. I think more than half, 40 to 50+% of their diet consists of fruit. And then most of those fruits are figs. So they love figs just like any other animals. So you can imagine they are very important in spreading seeds around. They live in a family of 2 to up to 6 members. So you have a mated pair, father and mother, and then up to 4 children. But usually you have 4 in a family. Depends on the species, but around 4 is a very good estimate. The male and the female are basically mated for life, okay, which is a rare thing for primates, okay. If you look at orangutan and chimpanzee, they are, they mate with a lot of individuals around their social group. But for gibbons, they are highly monogamous. They are extra pair copulation, which means affair in human terms, recorded in some of the species that we know, but monogamy is a norm among gibbons. And they are great singers. The reason why they sing their songs in the morning is that they want to advertise their territory. Their territory is huge. I think it is about the size of 20 over hectares, which is about 40 over football field. Okay, so you can imagine just a family of 4 living in that huge space. There are 3 species of gibbons you can find in the Peninsular Malaysia. The Ajau gibbon, as you can see in the green band. Siamang is the oblique bar. Usually you can find them in the CFS, Central Forest Spine. And Lar gibbon is basically everywhere else in the peninsula. It's funny that there's a discontinuation of Lar gibbons populations distribution where you almost cannot find any of them where you can find the Ajau gibbon. All right, they just don't mix well together. The only place that you can probably find all 3 is Royal Balloon, but nonetheless, the yellow circle is where Ulu Muda is. So largely falling within the distribution range of the Ajau gibbon. All right. So how many Ajau gibbons are there in Ulu Muda Forest Reserve? Okay. This is basically my research questions, right? Just a bit of revision on Ajau gibbons. Their behavior and ecology is very much the same with every other gibbon species you can find in Southeast Asia. But to tell the difference between the Lar gibbon and Ajau gibbon is that the Ajau gibbon has these 2 white eyebrows. Okay, whereas large gibbon is a complete ring around the face. I think if you look at this, this is a large gibbon, a complete ring around the face. Okay, there's no break off. And then another very key feature is that the hair on the back of their hand is the same as their body hair. Whereas the large gibbon, they always got their hand clean, okay, white. It is also known as white-handed gibbon. Agile gibbon is also known as the black-handed gibbon, but this is not entirely accurate because they do come in two morphs. Agile gibbon can as white as the large gibbon, okay, and so is the large gibbon. It can be as brown or as dark as agile gibbon. But if you look at the back, the hair on the back of their hand, then you'll be able to tell the species. All right, all gibbons but one are listed as endangered on IUCN. And that very one exception is critically endangered. That is I think the Hainan gibbon. All right, they are very much threatened by pet trade, like this poor thing over here. And then they are highly affected by the loss of habitat and habitat fragmentation. The thing is, oh, by the way, this is one of the things that you get your heart broken. If you use the right keyword on social media, you'll be able to find this, okay? It's totally illegal and you shouldn't be keeping gibbons as pets because when they grow up, they will go mental and they can actually, I don't know, bite your face off, okay, which is not nice to you. And it will destroy them. By the way, the last studies of gibbons, all gibbons that was done in Malaysia was done between 70s to 80s, about 30 to 40 years ago. And most of them are not even local Malaysians. That's why we do not have population data, see? So if anybody asks me, okay, is there a decrease in a given population? I would say I don't know because before that, we didn't even have population data. They are all baseline studies. But now we sort of have started our baseline studies on at least for their populations. So I'm just there in Ulu Muda to find out how many groups are there and how packed they live closely together. And then I would like to compare how different is the populations in different types of forests. Some of the forest has been logged a long time ago. Some of the forest has not been logged. And some of the forest has been logged rather recently, like 3 years ago. So I have conducted the so-called bioacoustic survey, which is a very long word for just sitting there and listening to gibbons, okay? I listen to gibbon, I record the direction, the sound that is coming from, and then roughly how far away are they from my position. There's a way to listen to it. And as you can see, I'm sitting on this fallen log very comfortably, apparently, right? To get to this point, I need to wake up at around 5 o'clock and start hiking at around 6 o'clock. And then by 7 o'clock, I should be sitting at this location in the dark. Okay. By the way, I have to hike in the dark as well, so which is not easy. And then by 7 o'clock, you sit there and you start listening already. From 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock, you think, okay, we may not have enough, a lot of calls, which is not true. Okay, I can hear gibbons calling from all directions, near and far. So you need to focus and you need to be fast. You'll be turning around like a, I don't know, like a gassing like that for 2 hours. And then only then, after 9 to 9:30, only then it start to slow down. And then we stop listening at 12 o'clock sharp. Okay, and then of course there was a time that interesting things can happen. I remember at this spot, gibbon actually came, and a family of gibbon actually came to that location. They wandered around, they didn't even know we were there. And then one of them peed on my field assistant on her birthday. So it's the best birthday gift, okay? Got peed by a gibbon. All right, so yeah, it's like raining, and then I was like, okay, let's get away. But my field assistant didn't realize it was actually pee, so she kena. Well, that was on her birthday anyway. That was a very close encounter Gibbon of mine. And then in other interesting things that happened is when I was at a different post, elephant sort of come quite close to one of my teammates. It actually warned us by trumpeting. And then we were like, okay, let's get out of the forest right now. So sorry, Ulu Ching, as far as we like elephants, we don't want to see them, all right? Because we don't want to get killed by doing research. Okay, so this is only one part of my method. The other method is the vegetation characteristic. We need to measure how thick is the canopy, how dense are the trees, or how big are the trees, okay? We basically have to count number of trees and measure them in a 10 by 10 meter plot. And if you think the plot will be flat and nice for us to, measure the tree, and then everything will be, you know, on a bed of roses, will be quite wrong, because this is what I have to go through. Yeah, this is basically a vertical slope. And then we have to drag the tape 10 meters in order to find the tree over there. Okay, so it's hard work lah. And luckily we do it in the afternoon, so we don't have to worry about the leeches, which we all eventually see past. Okay, leeches are just part of the landscape, so they are not the thing that you should be worrying about. Okay, you should be worried about elephant. Okay, but of course we had fun. So what I put my volunteers to go through is I have them to carry 15 to 20 kilos heavy of load to walk in and out of the forest at some times, because we need to camp inside the forest for 5 days. Okay, 5 days and 4 nights. Okay, so no nothing. Okay, absolutely no electricity, no water. Well, we have a lot of water, but no cell phone coverage and all that. But we enjoy the forest so much, as far as there's no rain. Okay. Things that we do see as we hike into the forest is this is animals, and this is one of the animals that really fascinate us. Okay, you can tell us what is that thing in the middle of the picture in the chat group. And if you bring the right people, it's going to be a very enjoyable experience, and you get to eat like king. All right, and queens, of course. Thanks Siti, because she's a Penangite and she knows how to cook good food in the forest. And of course, there's no cell phone reception, which we enjoy. I enjoy a lot because I don't have to worry about the world. And yeah, this is a thing that you get to document. Okay, you know, you have to write diary to your girlfriend or boyfriend, and then as you smile, then on the way out, you send it to your loved ones. And yes, one thing that I miss the most about Ulu Muda is Sungai Labua. This is definitely class. I don't think class 1 is enough to justify it lah. Okay, this is definitely class S. Okay, you can drink straight from a river, and it tastes sweet for me. I mean, this is the river that I miss the most. Ulu Muda may be the last stronghold for Agile gibbon for mainland Asia. Okay, there are Agile gibbons in Sumatra, all over Sumatra. And then why Ulu Muda will be the last stronghold? Because most of the distribution range has been highly developed or fragmented. Okay, remember this is the map I put up just now. The yellow circle is where the Ulu Muda is. The green band is the Agile gibbon distribution range based on 1980s data. Okay, you can see, Penang also got Agile gibbon. If you look at this map, you can see most of their range has been highly deforested or already fragmented. Okay, the yellow circle is a bit offside, but this black hole over here is Ulu Muda. You can see why it is so important for Agile gibbon. Even though Agile gibbon's range is spread all the way to Thailand, Thailand is not doing any any better. Okay, so Ulu Muda is really one of the last stronghold, if not Bukit, the Bintang range and a bit of Royal Balloon as well. So if we protect Ulu Muda, we protect the last stronghold of the mainland population of Agile gibbon. Okay, let alone protecting the water catchment, because, well, you can say gibbon spread seeds, and then seeds grows in the tree, and then tree helps to capture water or whatever. Agile gibbon, by protecting agile gibbon, then you get to protect other animals as well. This is the whole point. So do support us, support UNCA. Whenever you go around Malaysia, you hike or you go close to a forest and you hear or see gibbons, do drop us a message on our Facebook. You can scan the QR code now and record your encounter, even though it's just the sound. Let us know your GPS location. Smartphone will work just fine, and let us know the time and the date, okay? Because we are doing citizen science study as well. ESA is doing citizen science study as well. So we need to find out the distribution of the gibbons right now. And then if you do encounter any wildlife trait, especially gibbons, report such crime at this hotline. And of course, a bit more advertisement. If you like to buy this very nice dry fit fieldwork t-shirt, it's only 50 ringgit. Okay, of course the postage is extra lah. Do let me know, and it's a really perfect color for fieldwork, especially you want to do habituation. All right, it's just the last gift for all of you. Cover your ears. This video was taken by my volunteer, and he's from Penang. Is a very able hiker and a love of nature. And then that happens to be 15 meters away from him only. But of course, it didn't pee on him lah. Okay, but he did perform the acrobatic and then a beautiful song. All right. So for more information, or if you have any questions, okay, you can drop us an email, or you can scan this QR code of ours, and it will bring you to our Facebook page. Last but not least, thank you everyone. And we would like to pass the time to Oi Ching. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ethan, for your interesting sharing. I'm quite surprised at your research that you have done in the Ulu Muda forest. Yes, for me, for the photo that you showed just now, when you asked us which one is the monkey, for me, actually all is monkey, you know, because we really cannot recognize all of them. So very interesting thing, and thank you, Ethan, for your sharing. And dear audience, if you have any question want to ask Ethan, please feel free to write down your question at the chat box, or from those who from the Facebook also can write down your question at the comment side there, so later on I can help you to torture Ethan. All right, okay, next we will have Oi Ching from Meme to share about her story. So let's start, Oi Ching. The mic is yours now.
Thank you, Wai Leng. I would like to share the screens now. Give me a moment. Sorry, some technical issues while waiting for me to turn on the slides again. Maybe I can give some brief introductions. I'm currently doing my my postgraduates on elephants and covering the Peninsular Malaysia. And one of my study site is exactly in this beautiful Ulu Muda. Okay, can you see my screen?
Not yet.
How do I? Hold on, yeah. A little bit bekarat here how to use it.
Oh, maybe I can share from my side.
No, let me try again. Okay.
All right.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Okay.
You should be able to see it now.
Yes.
Do you see it?
You can make it full screen.
Okay. Can you see the whole screen?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. Okay, so that's me standing inside the elephant footprint in Ulu Muda. Okay, so I think most of us know that elephant is the biggest mammals, and we have it in Malaysia. Our elephant is Asian elephants. So I will give some brief introductions to our elephants and why I choose Ulu Muda. And try not to be too technical, I will share some experiences that I had while doing the work in Ulu Muda last year. Okay, so the map that you see, there is a distribution of elephants in Central Forest Pine, meaning from the Taman Negara toward the north. The one in the yellow is where we suspect there are elephants. Okay, so Ulu Muda is the northern part where we can find elephants. And it is true, I've seen elephant there. So basically there is 3 elephant species in the world, and 2 in Africa and 1 in Asia. Malaysia is one of the 13 countries in Asia that still have Asian elephants. And Malaysia is considered one of the strongholds if you would like to preserve these species. And we have, in the whole Malaysia, we have around 3,000 elephants. That is the current estimate. 2,000 in the Sabah and the other 1,005 in Peninsular Malaysia. They are currently considered endangered in Asians, and in Peninsular Malaysia, they are granted the highest ranking of protection, totally protected species in under the Wildlife Conservation Act 2010. Okay, next. Okay, so this is how I do. My study in Ulu Muda looking into elephant because we actually do not know how many elephants do we have in Ulu Muda. We have some numbers from the central part of the Peninsular Malaysia. We have numbers from Taman Negara. We have numbers from Endau Rompin. But we have some figures from the Belong Temenggong Forest Complex. But we do not know for sure how many elephants do we have in Ulu Muda. So my research is supposed to get to know this number and become, the implication of this study is to produce a baseline research work on elephants in Ulu Muda. Okay, so the map that you see is the lines is where we walk through the whole greater Ulu Muda. That means my work go beyond the Ulu Muda Forest Reserve. We cover other forest reserves next to it. And this inclusive of the Padang Terap in the northern part, and then the Aning Lake, and then the center, the biggest lake, the Padu Lake, and then the Ulu Muda Lake. This is places where me and my team went through for 8 months last year, starting from January until July. And that's me and my friends squatting down, collecting samples. So what we need in the research is basically elephant dung. We don't want to see the physical elephants. We try not to disturb them. So what we need is we walk the area that we have to go. And if we see the dung, and we will look, assess whether the dung is fresh, enough for me to collect the samples. So the bottle, the white dots at the bottom is all the bottles that we have ethanol to preserve the elephant dung. We take a little bit just to preserve the DNA materials. So this method, it will be using DNA materials to identify up to individual elephants in the Ulu Muda landscape. And sometimes we have to go into the river if the dung is fresh and it's not fully submerged under the water. This is another method that I use, mainly for a very fresh dung. This card is designed to better preserve DNA materials. So this is my staff. His name is Hussein. He's the orang asli in the Kampung Semelo in Temenggong. So my field team is mainly three non-orang asli and others are all orang asli. And of course, our friends, the boatmen, basically the Malay local community who are living next to the Ulu Muda. So some of the area that we went through is, I think Ethan have been through also this kind of forest. Some are disturbed, some are quite pristine forests. And I also focus my study in Sira. That means mineralic area. There are few areas in Ulu Muda where animals go to get some minerals, especially for herbivores like elephants. These are the location where you can feel the heat. Actually, Sira Hangat means panas, hot. so you can actually feel the heat. And this one of the places where I find most of my dung. And from the dung itself, you can actually see whether they actually go in groups. And if they are in groups, that means they are mainly females. Except there are some young males that still attached to the elephant. So the male elephant, usually they will leave the group when they grow older. Okay. Okay, so I will enough for the research part. So this is some of the experiences that I have and my team. I have 10 people in my team, sometimes 9, and 70% is all orang asli. So the one you see is where we push the boat. The orang asli, sorry, the local community, they use a small boat because of the, I think it's adaptable to the river itself. You cannot use big boat there. So the boat, which usually call sampan lah, of course with the engine. So sometimes we have to really push it and pull it. Most of the time I will be sitting inside because they say, you're very clumsy, you might fall into the forest. So I will sit and then they will push and pull. And the guy inside the mud is where, I think the first time not really sure, we don't know that the soil is very soft. We get out of the boat, go into it, and then straight into the mud. And it was my experience, I would say quite funny. And I was like so worried that my shoes will stuck inside the mud and we'll have no shoes for my trip. Because we go in, it takes some time also for us to get in. So, so we find out that you have to distribute your body weight and you crawl it. That's a better choice if you were to walk on these kind of conditions. So this is the start of our first trip last time. Next, this is me and another orang asli. She's Jahai and then living with the Tamil community. So when we trek, we carry our own bag and the load is quite heavy also. Depends on how long we stay in the forest. I stay probably from 4 to 7 days. Sometimes we extended to 8 days. So for longer period, we definitely have more loads of our food, basically our food. And also our clothes, we never change. At night, we have the same long sleeve shirts and then the long pants. Others is all the sampling materials and then the food. And we have brought our kuali also. You can see that's how we use it to cook. And I think as a researcher in the natural environment, you have to be probably 5 in 1 or something like that. You have to be the cook, you have to do the research. You have to do everything basically. So that's my experience of staying longer in the forest. Before this, I went camping in some places, but not to that extent. So Ulu Muda was my first experience in such conditions. This is our food, see? So good, nice, healthy. So we usually carry vegetables that we can keep for long, like long beans, lopak. No more pumpkin nowadays because my staff don't really like it. But we do have French beans and things like that, and we cook this. We only carry like canned food when the condition is like there's no water and has been raining, water was very dirty for us to really cook. Then we will use the canned food. But most of the time we eat the very fresh vegetables. And we carry flour just in case emergency. That's one of the occasion where we don't have enough food and we have to stay longer. So we use the flour to make some easy and delicious food. You should try. Oh, okay. Okay, this is, I think people who always go camping will be quite familiar with this. We usually sleep in a hammock. So first thing we do when we assess the location is suitable and safe. There's no pokok mati, dead trees around that might cause some risk. So we will set up our fly sheets, put out our hammock, and then clear the space for cooking. So this is the first step we do lah. So my orasi will look into the condition around it, whether or not it's safe for us to do the camp. Okay, and most of the time we'll try to find a place where we can find a water source. But if that's not possible, during the dry season where we go into very deep into the forest, we found stream, but there's no water. So we have condition like that we cannot really cook, and then you don't shower for 2 or 3 days. You just have to bear with it lah. Yeah. And in one occasion, we have elephant came to our camp. Actually 2. One is at night because we are camping really very close to their area. And then the other time is in the morning. They came when we were about to break our camp, and we were ready to run uphill without our heavy load. But lucky elephants turn around and go the other way. Okay, the next one. I have so many experiences. Oh, this was a very funny one. We were walking quite deep inside the Ulu Muda. When I refer to Ulu Muda, it can be a greater Ulu Muda, the other part of the forest. This is where we saw the dung, like a cattle dung, and then after that, we saw the footprint. It's not very clear, but it's very big. And my orasli start discussing, could it be a seladang? So the wild cattle in the forest. So by the time I asked was the second time I turned around, they are no longer there. They just left me and my friends. And I found them standing by the tree, very ready to climb out a very straight tree. And what I say is, how about me? I cannot climb trees, so what do I do? So they just say, you just find another trees with the branches and try to climb. So, well, and then my friend take the initiative to go further in front and really zoom in because we were very far. So, and then I said the photo is actually a kabao, it's just a buffalo. And then later we checked with the locals. They say in the past there are people who were rearing buffalo, but then some were, escape, get into the forest and they never come and try to look for the buffalo also. So this is one of the very funny incidents. And the local actually said one of the local, the Padin just now, I asked him about seladang in Ulu Muda. He said he last heard about it when he was a teenager. So that's mean like 30, 40 years ago, there's no longer seladang in Ulu Muda. This means, yeah, one big animal's gone. Okay, this is in Ulu Muda. We were trying to get down from one very high area, probably 12 foot deep into it's like kind of like ravine. And then we have to use a rope to winch down our bag because we couldn't carry the bags together. The weight might pull us down, so it might cause more injuries. So this is how we do it lah. So we need cooperation from everyone. The team dynamic is very important in that sense. Prior to my field trip lah, we call it like kind of small Ulu Muda expedition for my research work. We equip our orang asli with some of the first aid training, GPS, how to use GPS, and reading maps from the GPS. And they, amazingly, they are very good at it. So, so we continue with that. We just make sure we have meetings all the time and make sure everyone is in good dynamic, and the safety is our priority in the field work. So in this condition, we actually will say if we fall, just protect the head. That's the most important thing. Okay, so yeah, in one occasion we have to use this, and then you have to hold on to the ropes to get down. Not the ropes, actually the roots from the trees to get down. I was so scared at that time. Now I'm okay. Okay, oh yeah, this one, on that day, actually after when we came down, we actually was very thirsty. We couldn't find water for, I think, the one whole day. So we get the water and then put the chlorine tablets just to kill some of the germs lah. So everyone are queuing up to take water. And sometimes we do have a condition where we trek too long and it's too wet. Sometimes the body couldn't take it. So in this condition, we have some staff with a blister. It's quite bad on the feet. So we do the treatment just to avoid any infections, and we send him out immediately lah. So in this condition, we actually have I have 2 teams, so every team is equipped with 1 satellite phone, which we will use for emergency. For example, emergency to call the boatman, go out, or emergency at night, we will inform the MIM project manager, Ms Pravina, if there's any incidents. And then also to inform each other where is their location. This is just for safety purposes. Yeah, this is requested by Wai Leng about the leech. So somehow you have this kind of conditions. When you walk, you don't really have time to really look at your feet or your neck all the time. Although we usually wear 2 layers of socks, but some of the tiny one can still go in, or whenever you remove your socks, the leech is there. I mean, Ulu Muda has a lot of leech. So, but it's also a good indicator. I think there are researchers who use leech to study rare and endangered species. I think the richness of your leech in Ulu Muda actually indicate you still have a lot of animals there for them to feed on. So it's a good indicator in that sense. It's just that sometimes you might feel like, oh, okay, I have leech. Okay, then that's me with the swollen arms. I got 3 hornet stung on me that day. Tak sempat lari lah. Basically, people call tebuan, and then I like, what? Because it's quite far away. So when I run, I already got 3. It's very, very painful. So that's my bitter experience in the Ulu Muda. But for this, people have to be careful because hornet can kill, especially if you have some allergic reactions to it. Okay. I never know about this, but I got to know it when I went attend one of the course lately. Okay, and then the next one. Oh, okay, this is sometimes we access Ulu Muda through the the logging roads, and some road are quite bad. It's just that one section is quite bad. So in this condition, if we don't fix the hole, we might turn turtle. So we put in rocks and some of the plants just to give a leverage for the car to pass through. This is just some of the simple conditions that we're facing in Ulu Muda. This is also the logistic part lah, where we have to pay a lot of money for the car maintenance, things like that. So every time we come out from the bad logging roads, we actually send the car for service before our next trip. Okay, the next one. Okay, this is the, I would like to touch on this threats to wildlife in Ulu Muda. So far, this is one particular incident that happens in Padang Terap, in Aning, in the northern part of the Greater Ulu Muda. We were trekking in the forest, and 2 of my orang asli who were in front, they actually saw 2 men by the river. But this guy ran away very fast. Their ties. Then we walk again, but we never connect these 2 people with the camp. So as we walk, we like hearing like dog barking. So I asked my non-orang asli friends, is that dog barking? Then he said, no, impossible lah. Because usually in the forest, we are calling our friends in front. We are like, woo, woo, like just want to know the directions and how far they are. And then like, oh, then maybe it's my imagination. Then after that, it keep you can hear the dog is barking very loud and the frequency has increased. So we are quite sure lah. So it's dog lah. So we follow and we came to this very big camp. I think there are 7 or 8 a sleeping area with the rice just cooked with the, I think it's the rodents. It's already, I mean, they call it barbecue rodents, but no one there. The dog was tied to the makeshift camp lah for them, for dogs. We didn't stay for long. We take pictures, we take the locations, and then we walk away because we are very not sure whether these people are hiding somewhere around looking at us, whether or not they have weapons. So this is one of the risks that we are facing. And immediately after that, we walk to the place where we want to go. And on the way, we found many snares. We have removed around 50 newly deployed snares, like the one that you see in the photos. But these snares are small, probably targeting small mammals. We found many porcupines, what do you call, the duri near to the nest. And we remove it, we pass it to wildlife departments. We also found bees nest, which is, I think, is set for tigers or bee animals. Subsequently, I think wildlife department went in to check. They found more snare in these locations. So this is one of the things that we collaborate with wildlife departments. We provide them informations because they couldn't do it. They have very limited resources. So that's one of the threats that we see for immediate threats to the animals. Although it's set for small mammals, big animal can get caught, like young elephants could get caught in the snares and they may die. Okay, and then another thing that I see is the Valley of Ulu Muda itself. I mean, it offers so many things. These are the real pictures that we have. I have many more, and I think researcher, botanists, or people who want to study bugs or insects can actually go to Ulu Muda as one of the area where they can do this kind of study. I know WWF and MNS intended to do some scientific studies in this area, but it does offer a lot of opportunity for this kind of research. And giving an example, I have the picture of this otter, the video of him feeding for a year. But I mean, it never crossed my mind that it's a rare and endangered otters, the hairy-nosed otter, until recently when we want to use it for Biodiversity Day, and then we're looking at it and someone pointed out this is not the common otter. So this kind of hidden information with the researchers in Ulu Muda, I mean, probably you can find a way to share this kind of information. This is something that I see the value in Ulu Muda itself. Okay, I think my time is coming up. Okay. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the people who are helping me, my supervisors, Aimsa, Ipin, and Dr. Warun Goswami from India. And then the people that saying hi to you is mainly my staff, except 5 of them are boatmen. These are regular boatmen that we use to go in and coming out. And they charge us the very reasonable price. Basically, you pay for the fuel. Okay, and they're very friendly. They actually responded to us a lot when we asked questions about tigers, elephants, ladang, or other animals that we see in the forest. So in that sense of research, I actually built up more, I would say, relationship with the local communities, and we still keep in touch with them. At the moment, I've finished out my data collection in Ulu Muda. It's just waiting for the data processing and analysis. Up until then, I will not have any work in Ulu Muda because now I'm starting another research data collection in Temanggung Forest. But we might be definitely going back to Ulu Muda for further research in the future for elephants. So I would like to also acknowledge that this research is funded by Sandabi, Nottingham, UC Nottingham, Wildlife Research Singapore, and we are happily welcomed by Mr. Jaime for a lodge to stay at his place for free during our trips, and also we get the permits to do this research from the wildlife departments and also the forestry. I think that's all from me. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you, Oi Ching, for your interesting sharing. It's very, very awesome story for me because every time I go into the Ulu Muda forest, I just stay at the lodge, and I never had the experience or chances to camp so long time inside the forest. So I myself really admire at you and what you have doing in the Ulu Muda forest. And yeah, I still remember my first trip into Ulu Muda is together with you, Prof. Ahim Shah, and also Prof. Chan. And then when I see you demonstrate how you collect your data from the elephant dung, it's really an eye-opener to me, you know. Until now, I still remember the story. And I still remember how fresh the dung when I try to feel it with my own finger. It's a very great experience. So yes, if anyone have any question want to ask Wei Ching or Ethan, if you are from Zoom, you can raise your hand so we can queue you out. Or if you is from the Facebook, you also can leave us a question at the comment there so we can help you to ask them. And as we already out of our time, so is it okay we extend for 10 minutes for the Q&A section?
You're asking me? Yeah, I think I see one question from Wu Chi Young already.
Yes, let me check. All right, there's a question. Actually, there is a question from Ida to Ethan also. She is asking like why the three species is distributed distinctively and they cannot live each other, or the food selections.
Okay, so siamang, the largest gibbons of the family, okay, the largest small apes of the small apes family can live sympatrically with other species of gibbon, which means they can coexist in space, largely because siamang can eat more leaves than the smaller species of gibbons. Okay, in Indonesia, that happens as well. Okay, you can find siamangs in Sumatra as well, and also in the Peninsula Malaysia. The thing for the other species of gibbons, okay, they do not tolerate each other. Okay, one species does not really tolerate each other. They cannot really live sympatrically, and wherever you find one species, you don't find another, largely because of their behavior and their diet is too similar. Siamang can tolerate, as I mentioned just now, I can tolerate diet with less nutrients, more leaves. Okay, and siamang is just bigger. Okay, if they want to bully, they can bully other species. And in fact, there are papers coming from Sumatra saying that wherever you find siamangs, the presence of siamang will affect the density of other smaller species of gibbons. And siamang can tolerate higher altitude. So that's why you find siamangs in Genting Highland, in Fraser's Hill, but you don't find the smaller species of gibbons in those areas. Agile and large gibbons basically does not tolerate higher elevations.
All right. Okay, and then Ethan, another question for you as well from Wu Chi-yong. He asking for your suggestion or recommendation in conserving the gibbon population in Malaysia, especially on the pet trade aspect. So what do you think?
I think people need to know them first. Okay, let me turn on my video. Okay, people need to know gibbons first. Like the question that I asked just now, many people actually think they are monkeys. And yes, we do see people keeping monkeys in kampongs or wherever, which is already illegal. But we need to let more people know about gibbons. Most of the limelight has been given to, well, of course, a long-tailed macaque because of the conflict that we have with them, but also the orang-utan, the only great apes that we have in Malaysia. I mean, obviously, they are the more charismatic species compared to gibbons, but gibbons are very charismatic and it has a market as well. Just that it's hard to see them. Of course, it's hard to see orang-utan as well. And really, people hear them, but people are not aware of them. Like I myself sort of grew up with gibbons as well. I come from Johor, Kluang Johor, and there's a little hill called Gunung Lambat. There are large gibbons over there. I know there's a song, and I think it is coming from gibbon or an ape or something like that, but nothing more than from that. And it has not received enough attention. So I think it is our job to educate public about it and the threat that is faced by them. That's one. And then I think gibbons, if I were to choose the larger threat of the two. Okay, either habitat destructions or the pet trade. I would say habitat destruction will actually affect them more than the pet trade. Yes, because if you kill if you want to catch one baby gibbon, you need to get rid of the mother first. And it takes about 10 years for the female to mature and to have baby again. So it's already hard for the forest to produce another gibbon already. But if you destroy the forest, then a lot more families of gibbons will be affected, you see. And in Peninsular Malaysia, we have less than half of the land mass that is forest, 43%. And that 43%, some of them are, well, it says forest reserve, but they are really rubber estate. And gibbons does not tolerate monoculture. Okay, they need a proper forest. So really, people need to know more about them, and people like what happened to Kuala Langat the peat storm forest. People should do the same to Kuala Langat, to really fight for, if there's a deforestation plan going on, we should stand up and say no to that. We need to conserve what we have right now, whether or not they are gazetted as a forest reserve or receiving a higher status or not. All of them are important. Even though they are degraded forests, as many of the research has suggested, even degraded forest is precious for the gibbons.
All right, thank you, Ethan, for your answer. And then we also have some question from the Facebook. There we have Pravina asking about for Oi Ching and Ethan, both of you, what will be your key message to your fellow young Malaysians? So, Oi Ching?
Oh, I need to think so many. I think if we are looking into the conservation perspective, I would say if you are interested in the species or the environment itself, go and try to experience it before you pursue your dreams. So for example, if you like elephants, go and try and stay a few days in Ulu Muda and see whether this is a condition that you want to be in. And if you really love it, then you can continue and pursue your dream to be in that conservation surrounding for many years to come. Yeah.
As for me, our generation has been left with what the previous generation has passed down, and some of the previous generation, they would actually apologize to us for their inactions in protecting the natural environment. Do we want to do the same for our future generation? If we don't, then well, you can, like Oi Ching has mentioned, if you are looking into pursuing a career in conservation, there are many people that can advise you. But you don't really have to be in this industry in order to make an effort. Everyone can make an effort to make the world a better place. You can start from consuming less electricity, less water. You can start planting your own food. You can start educating yourself. Start to be aware of your environment. If there's a community forest around you, there's ready to be opened up by the developers or something, then you should, I don't know, write to your representative, your assemblyman or member of parliament, and then maybe rally a group of people, get some consultation from the professionals, like many of us here. You can be responsible to the environment as a citizen itself, yourself. Okay, you don't have to be an expert in one thing. In order to do something, you can do this little step in order to contribute a big part to the environment as a whole. Okay, well, of course, if you do need professional advice, you can ask any of us. And again, educate yourself. Okay, there are many people that you can ask. You can even ask Google. If you don't know something about elephant, you can ask Google. You can ask Wikipedia. But now you have the obligation to spread the news around. You have the obligation to be more aware of the environment issue now.
Okay, thank you, Ethan. And then another question thrown to you also from the Ipin from Facebook, and she's asking whether are you looking for volunteer or not.
Me or Oi Ching?
Ethan.
Currently, our fieldwork has basically completed. I think Isa is still doing her stuff in Kuala Tahan, but I think she is closing up her fieldwork as well, because I think she has finished data collection. But we are going to start our fieldwork in Johor. Okay, Uma, if you are in the room, okay, this is the person that you should go to, or you can ask me. All right, we are going to start our field work in Johor. It should be happening now, but because of coronavirus, we couldn't. And I have paved some way for Uma for her to work around in Johor already. Uma will be a postgraduate student working on her PhD on Gibbons in Johor. She's from Singapore.
Okay,
So
thank you, Ethan. Yeah, that's great. So who would like to become a volunteer can contact Ethan or Uma, right?
Yes, you can contact me, you can contact Uma.
Okay, because of the time, we are already out like more than 15 minutes already. So sorry to say that we cannot answer all the questions in our chat group. So if you really want to know about the answer from the speaker, and then you can like private message for our Photo Watch Penang, and we will help you to get in touch with our both speaker. So sorry about that. And all right, before we end our session, I hope that through today's sharing and the story from both our amazing speaker about the Ulu Muda, those who don't know or never heard about Ulu Muda, you can get some idea from them. And for those who are already familiar with Ulu Muda, like our boss, okay, maybe this is like another way to show you the Ulu Muda from the different aspect for me, okay? So again, same forest, same Ulu Muda, different people, different story, right? And next Friday, we also will have another session to Cognizing Ulu Muda through the eyes of Greensmith, and we will have two amazing people, speaker from Greensmith, who is Yueshen and Shah, to share us their story. Okay, so before we end the session, can you guys help me to fill in the feedback form that we already give the link at our chat box and the Facebook there? Okay, so here come to the end of our session today. Thank you, Ethan. Thank you, Oi Ching, and thank you, everybody. Good night.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Have a good evening.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Everyone.